We ready.
The first sit down talk of the year and the first sit down talk in the new house.
It's the first joint of the year?
Yeah, it's the first one we recorded this year.
It sure is.
Yeah.
With that being said, welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down Talk. My name is Kier.
And I'm Noémie.
And we welcome you. Clap it up for you for being here today. Yeah, boy. If this is your first time here, we welcome you. It's going to be a lot of people's first time here because we just reintroduced the Sit Down Talk on IG. So welcome to all the new subs. Thank y'all for subscribing. But if you...
Here he goes.
If you are a part of the group of people that we refer to as the repeat offenders, I wish we had a better name for y'all. I find that hilarious.
You don't wish we had a better name for it because you say that every time, but you love it.
I won't do it. It's just, it's something that's just amazing and terrible about that at the same time. But what's up, repeat offenders? Come in. We doing group hugs in 2023? Okay. You said it was corny, so now I'm self-conscious about it. What's up, y'all?
Whatever, you love it. Speaking of hugs, who was I talking to? And they were like, Kier gives the best hugs. It was somebody that was like, you gave them a hug and it's like deep in their soul they needed it. I think they cried or something.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he really does give the best
hugs.
I'm always hearing from people like, yo, he's been getting the best hugs.
That's because I'm protective of my energy. Wait a minute. This episode is not about me.
Oh.
This episode is not about Kier. This episode is about...
I'm blushing.
So before we do anything, you've already seen the title of this video. Man, let me contain myself. Let me catch him up real quick.
Okay.
So watch this video and then let's talk about it afterwards.
I'm so nervous. Oh my God. What's the subject?
Resignation. Resignation will do.
Did I spell everything right?
Did you send it?
Yeah. I need you to get some wine in you.
Did you send it? No! Yes, but still! Baby! Baby!
I did it!
How do you feel?
I don't know. I feel happy for sure, but like, damn.
Eyes getting juicy.
I just didn't think I'd be able to thank you.
Thank me?
Thank you for letting me do this.
You deserve it, man.
Thank you for being rich so I can quit my job.
Stop telling people I'm rich.
I cannot contain myself. What's wrong with me, Noémie?
Nah, I don't know if you're supposed to be able to contain yourself.
God.
In a
I've
situation
never been this happy before. I mean, our wedding day, I was really, really, really happy. I'm just as happy, right? Like, what? Okay. I just don't want to look like a cornball.
Nah,
Sit down, talk.
I don't think that's possible because I think a lot of us spend the majority of our adult lives working in jobs that we don't like or feeling like the work that we do isn't recognized and appreciated by the people who employ us. We spend a lot of time not being treated right by the people who are supposed to be in leadership, and we wish that there could be a day where we can walk away from that and just focus on the stuff that we love.
Mm-hmm. And focus on the things that matter most to us.
And the people that matter most to us. Mm-hmm. And it's very rare that people get an opportunity to do that, but you! That's your reality.
I know, it's so wild.
So let's bring it all together for those that don't know. A lot has changed for us in the last couple of months.
Sorry, welcome to our new house.
Yeah,
sorry.
If you follow us on Instagram, then everything makes sense.
Yeah.
If you don't, you like, dog, what is going on right now? Noémie is a lawyer by trade, and she has been working in that capacity for
7 years.
For 7 years.
Well, it's been 7 years since I graduated.
7 years since you graduated. You've been working for
10 years. A lot has happened. Yeah, babe, you're just gonna have to help me walk through these emotions.
So ever since I started doing social media full time, Noémie still maintained her full-time job.
Yeah.
and she was amazing at what she did. I think everybody that worked with her will agree to that. She's super professional, but this lifestyle is very different from a traditional 9-to-5 lifestyle. The content creator online doing speeches, that whole nine, and we really have to be in sync. Time is a different type of commodity for us because of logistics with the kids and all the things we're trying to accomplish. And then like there was still this job. There was this job that you had to do and you were really proud to do.
Yeah, but it was in the way.
That joint was in the way.
It was like Kier couldn't take certain like travel opportunities in general because it might have been a busy week at work. And like the way that work was set up, I would have 1 or 2 weeks every month where I would pretty much be like the lead of anything going on. And we would know those weeks in advance. It was very structured. There was a calendar where I knew where it would be. But in the social media industry, things kind of happen like that. Like, for example, we got invited to the White House and found out about it like 2 days before.
Oh, yeah. The vice president invited us to her event last night. We'll drop some clips here. Man.
Last night.
We had a time last night.
Anyway, but something like that, it ended up taking up the whole day. I had to get my nails done, had to get my hair done, had to figure out an outfit. And if I had to do that on top of taking the kids and picking up the kid, like just kid stuff on top of work, like it just would have made it impossible. And we found that we were in that situation a lot in 2022, which is what prompted the decision like, okay, if I leave, what does this look like? And then it ended up opening up way more opportunities. Like I feel like we were stifled with me having the traditional 9-to-5.
Do you feel like, because I remember right before you actually put in your 2-week notice, you had questions like, is this really a good decision?
A lot of it was more like, I've never not had a paycheck before. So it was like, can we really afford this? I understand that I'm like miserable at this point, but can we actually afford this?
Can we talk about that? Real talk? We hear a lot in like the entrepreneur culture and the boss culture, people leaving their jobs. I'm leaving my 9-to-5 for my passion, and they make it sound like it's such an easy decision.
I think it's rare to find people who leave a career and are just, especially one that they went to school for, they've elevated in, to just walk away for something that's like low-key highly uncertain.
I know.
Yeah, because like, listen, I never know what's happening in this industry. One day we could be doing a whole bunch of brand partnerships. The next day, nothing. And then the next day, speaking engagement, can you be here on Friday? And it's Tuesday. I think that, to me, I don't know so much if I was scared, but uncertainty is uncomfortable for me. I am a like routine type of chick. I like to know what I'm doing, not necessarily doing the same thing every day, but I like to be ahead of my schedule.
Yeah.
And
you also like to get into a rhythm.
I feel like, and that's where you and I are completely opposite. You be like, cool, you wake up in the morning and be like, okay, what do I have to do today? If I wake up in the morning and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm already off to a bad start. You just love spontaneity, and I'm not a fan.
It's something about getting a last minute outfit. It's something about switching that joint last second of the game and it goes in, and then you get overconfident and you do it all the time because you think you can't miss.
Damn, I haven't had anxiety in 3 weeks and just got a little spark of it.
Why?
Because that to me is crazy. But you do it all the time. I'm like, how? And he always pulls it together. I'm not you. I can't wait.
We manage those things.
I can't pull it together like that.
We manage those things different ways. It's taken me some time to not judge the way you manage yours and just accept it like that's just your process.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, you don't think I'm there? Oh shit. For real, if it was on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super judgy, 0 being super cool about stuff, where would you say I was 5 years ago?
Sorry, 1 super judgy, 10?
Nah, one being cool, 10 being super judgy.
You're at like a 6.
I'm a 6 now?
Yeah.
Where was I like 5 years ago?
10. Like, I feel like anything that deviated from the way that you do things, I could be upset. Oh my God, why are you freaking out? I'm like, I'm not freaking out. I'm just upset. I could be happy, but like, it's really not that deep. And I'm like, I'm just happy. Like,
yeah. The more you get to know somebody, you misinterpret them a little bit.
But I don't know if it's so much of a misinterpretation as it is you haven't exposed yourself to another perspective, so you're just looking at it through your lens. Okay, judgy is the wrong word. I don't know that you were judgmental, but you were just like, what is going on with you? Why does that elicit this reaction?
Why are you like this?
Like you just couldn't conceptualize that somebody could have that reaction.
You know what? Yeah, you right.
I know you too.
Yeah.
I know you.
Nah, you right, because
you're not judgmental. You're not a judgmental person naturally.
I just spent a lot of my life with things things had to make sense to me in order for
Yes.
me to like
Yes.
get on the same page
Yes.
with you. Now I'm like, that don't make sense to me, but I can kind of see how you got there. What do I need to do to rectify this? My bad.
Oh my God, that aligns with what you posted on Instagram. It was one of our last sit down talks.
Oh, I think I can empathize without understanding.
Yeah, you can empathize without understanding. Before, you couldn't empathize without understanding any reaction. Now, you're probably like, that sounds wild, but I got it. You know, like, I get why that affects you that
Ain't
way.
the way I would do it, but, you know, I can see how somebody can get
you're
there.
way more empathetic in that sense.
You said something, and it made me think about when I first met you. You said you were a girl that's used to always having a paycheck. And that's one of the things that I think I love the most about you when we first met. I felt like, this could be taken the wrong way, but I felt like you didn't need me.
I did.
And then you weren't waiting for me to save you.
Absolutely not.
You weren't requiring any resources out of me.
No.
That's what made me feel like you really liked me for me, though. You never asked me for
Of
me.
course I did. I mean,
We have different dating experiences.
Yeah. Little does he know we wouldn't have never gotten that far if I didn't like actually like you for you.
But it does say something about your independence, real
Yeah.
talk. How you go about making sure you have something for yourself and how hard you work for everything you had. You're one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Yes, Noémie.
I'm gonna take that. I like that compliment.
I think I told you before, but I've never said it that way. Like, you don't half-ass nothing.
No, I don't.
You put your
I wish I
whole
could.
ass into
I
everything.
put my whole,
You a whole
my big
asser.
old. I'm a whole asser.
You a whole ass.
I was about to say I put my big old booty in everything.
Lord Jesus, help us.
Oh man, I'm just so giddy and happy and excited.
I love that you get a chance to live a life that's free of anxiety. Wait a minute, to be clear, she quit her job and we folded her into the company that we own together.
Yeah, I'm the COO.
Yeah, she's the chief operating officer. So this is twofold. She gets to walk away from her 9 to 5, but she also gets to spend her time doing something she's amazing at.
And making money for my family in my family business.
And providing opportunity. And this type of creative entrepreneur world is just the opposite of a 9 to 5. There's no structure. Nobody is your boss for real. You just got people who work with or for you. So it can make time and how you manage time and how you look at urgency. It can blur the lines a little bit. But she was like, I'm gonna quit this job and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what you expect from me to hop on and do this whole game's creative thing. I was like, what do you mean? What do I expect from you? Like, what the duties are. I don't know if I'll have time to do the things for me. I was like, no, Amy, I'm not your boss, baby. You have a list of things that you see done that you want done. If you want to take 2 hours and work really hard and just F off for the rest of the day, you can. Your time is your own. And I just remember you blinking. And I'm like, babe, you can go to a cafe and work. You can work on your phone while you're getting your hair done. You can set up all your meetings for 2 days a week and chill for the rest. I trust you enough to know that if there's a job that needs to be done, baby, you gonna do it. Like, you're not gonna leave nothing on the plate. You eating all of that. But on the same token, I don't think you understand what freedom meant from an employment standpoint.
I don't, and I won't for a while.
You 2 weeks off. You 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since she quit her job.
I know. I don't know.
What's the void feeling like?
I ain't got no words.
Yeah. It's just a day.
I wish one day. Today's just not the day where I can explain what the emotion is, but I promise to like come back to this moment, but I feel like I'm still in it. And I feel like I'm gonna be in it until I have a clearer idea of what I wanna focus on. Like, you know how people be like, the world is my oyster? That's how I feel right now. And I'm like, I have these 10 amazing things that I could work on right now. And it's not even a tiered system, like I like one more than the other. They're all amazing and I'll feel great no matter what I continue to go with. And I'm just trying to figure out which ones I wanna focus on now and which ones I wanna focus on later. But like, I've never really been in a situation where I am approaching projects from an oversupply. Like, I feel like it's always a deficit and I'm trying to manage my time and split my time into this, and this. And I'm literally in a place where I can give 110% to whatever I want to do. And they're all equally as amazing projects. But like, I just like, wow, I get to do this. I'm still in the awe phase. I think I need to sit in this moment for a couple more days. I think whatever it is that I'm supposed to focus on will just come to me.
What I wanted the most for you out of this whole thing is I wanted you to have the freedom to do everything or nothing at all. I didn't want you to have to feel the pressure to have to figure something out.
I don't feel the pressure anymore. I felt it day one, like the day after I quit. I was like, okay, baby, so what do you need me to do? And he's like, what do you want to do? No, you just like, what do you want to do? And I was like, nothing. He was like, okay. And I was the last that I heard until this video. And I was just like, oh, I've just been doing little things here and there, kind of doing the pre-work and setting up, really spending time with my family. I be picking up my girls from school every single day. I'm not tired. I'm down for whatever. Like, it's to parent like this too, man.
You down for whatever, huh?
Don't.
You down for
This
whatever, huh?
is a PG rated podcast, I think. It's not.
Words leaving, huh? There you go.
What's next on the agenda?
Sometimes when I see this dynamic, the wife quits her job, I don't know if the expectation is like strictly stay at home and take care of the family.
I think it's changed. I don't know a stay-at-home mom that doesn't have something going on.
Like a side hustle
you
or
know,
something.
I think our
That's true.
generation, and when I say our generation, I can only speak for like my millennial mom friends. I don't know. I think that for one, I think society understands like how much work it is to be a stay-at-home mom or even like a work-from-home mom because the expectation of the involvement with your kids is always going to be heightened. Even in the past like couple of weeks, I've heard like I'm expected to spend more time with the kids. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so you're not going to have a babysitter anymore.
Oh, like when people
Yeah,
hear
find
that
out
you
when I
left
quit
your
my
job. Okay,
yeah, it's
got
like,
it.
oh, you're not gonna have the babysitter anymore, and I'm like, why wouldn't I? Like, I don't understand. Like, oh, you'll have more time at home. Yeah, the kids go to school. We still need, you know, some type of help, and I just feel like that expectation is more of like the older generation, and I feel like with us, like the millennial moms, it's like a lot of people are using the extra time that they have. I don't want to say extra, but are able to allocate more time to themselves. So like the response that I've gotten from millennial moms is like, oh, okay, so what's going on with your social media? What you gonna be doing? What projects you gonna be working on? So I just think like that it's different. I think it's different, at least with my circle. And I would arguably say that it's a lot of us in the millennial mom bubble. Do you agree? Or do you feel like it's still a little archaic?
It's all moms for real. It's just the unfair burden of motherhood. You are expected to still work and be an equal economic contributor to your household or somewhere in the vein of that, and then still be expected to have the wealth of the responsibilities of parenting. And it's too much, man. And then on the other side of that, like once you have a baby, the time to return back to work is crazy. You come back too soon. The rhythm of it all is off. It's never enough time.
It's never enough time.
It's never enough time. So I don't feel like the whole thing is set up for moms to win.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's not set
Absolutely
up for y'all to
not.
win at all.
I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends. She works at a law firm. She just had a baby. And she was talking, she's like, how do you do it all? Like, how am I supposed to be doing all of this stuff and like breastfeeding and pumping and staying on top of doctor's appointments and staying on top of work and everything like that? And she was just like, I feel like I'm not doing everything that I could. And I just remember in my mind saying like, duh. Because we're not supposed to. They're like, you know, back in the old days, women were expected to do blase, blase, blase. I'm like, and they also weren't working 40 plus hours a week. So like, I think I've just been in this place where I refuse to accept the fact that society thinks that I should be doing more. No, because I'm already doing too much. Y'all lucky that I'm doing what I'm doing, society. I'm not about to place your expectations and burden myself with that. And I just feel like I'm just in a place where I am actively, I think I'm in a place where I've rejected that, but I've been in a place where I was actively trying to reject it for a while. So I'm like, y'all not about to stress me out. This is just I'm not supposed to be doing all of this. So if I got to take this off my plate, like even when I was working, I think it was obvious that I was taking time away from certain things and taking certain projects off of my plate. I don't think it was obvious that I was leaving, but it was obvious that I was placing certain boundaries and that my family was in fact the priority. And I think that's where the pushback kind of really started.
So I remember in the beginning of 2022, show you right. You said, hey, I'm putting family first. I can't prioritize this job this way anymore. I need you to hold me accountable. And I said, all right, bet.
Can I say something before you go into it? The reason why I said that is because Noémie is the gunner. Noémie is the one that's like, oh, y'all need to finish 5 projects by the end of the year. I'm going to do 10. I don't know why I was like that, but I was that person.
You're
just
the
overachiever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to overachieve. I like to do above and beyond. Like that has always been my work ethic. And I think when I became a mom, of course I tried to do it then. Like if y'all followed me when Emery was a baby, I did all the things.
Overachieving
If you
as
think,
a mom will sink you.
So just imagine overachieving as a mom, then trying to overachieve as an employee, and then trying to overachieve as a wife. Like, no. You can't do it all. And I think that my job kind of looked at that as the standard. And once I had Emory, I still prioritize work, but I started to drain myself. And so I had my work Noémie and my Noémie, and then my mom Noémie. It was just draining from like my core. And I think by the time that I had Sydney, or I was pregnant with Sydney, I knew that I'm like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't sustainable with two. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it because I'm gonna be on maternity leave. Let me just focus on this mom of two life, because that's what this time is for. It's for me to bond. And then when it was time to go back to work, I think the expectation, I wouldn't say the expectation from management and leadership was for me to overdo it, but I think the expectation from the people that were used to working with me were like, oh yeah, Noémie's gonna get it done. And I think the pushback when it's like, actually, Noémie's not gonna be on this project at all. I think that's where things got weird.
Things got really strange when you started to stand up for yourself. Mm-hmm. And I remember there were points in times where you would ask me like, hey, I don't feel like I have the capacity to do this thing they're asking me to do. Mm-hmm. What should I do? And I said, hey, you said in the beginning. Let's say, for instance, she had something to do at work and the kids got sick. Yep. If you a parent, you know, especially this year and last year, your kids are sick all the time.
Yeah.
Like
they're sick more than they're not sick.
Man, we had a good 3-month stretch where we could not get 2 consecutive healthy weeks out of these kids.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the baby got a fever, the big one coughing, and I got 4 projects I have to turn in because that's what keeps our lights on.
That's how we pay our bills. I have something important to do at work, and I'm like, okay, we can't do both. I just got to take this day off, or I have to push this project back at work, or I have to take this off my plate. And it wasn't because it was like, F this job. We literally can't do it all. And we have to prioritize the things that keep our lights on, that'll keep us healthy, that'll keep us safe.
Which for me was actually challenging because I never wanted you to feel like my job brings in all the money. I got the big piece of chicken. You just gonna have to not do your thing. I know. But I also was really careful because I know that doing a good job is important to you.
Yeah.
I know that achieving is important to you. And if you can't have a job well done, you don't feel great about yourself. Mm-mm. So there are times when it was just uncomfortable. It may be a big brand deal or something like that, but it's gonna be a day late. And when you're a day late in this field, that costs you thousands of dollars.
There were times when we lost money because we just couldn't.
Oh yeah, I mean, lost a chunk of money.
Yeah, like a couple mortgage payments. You know, because we just it was just too much going on. That money that we lost, we didn't recoup from my salary. Like it was gone.
That's another thing. It's unbalanced how much the business brings in versus how much Noémie's salary brings in. Yeah. But I'm just conscientious of these relationships and these dynamics where the man brings in all the money and then he calls in all the shots. And then I just didn't want you to feel like the work you did that you found important was being invalidated.
I really never felt that way. I think I am appreciative for you being mindful of that, but just understand that that's not a thing. I just find it interesting that was such a concern for you. Because at the end of the day, my concern was, I wasn't thinking like, oh, Kier's acting like my job, blah, blah, blah. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, my job was giving me anxiety. Like Sunday night,
hated what it was.
I would have anxiety. Yeah. It was one of the things where it's like everything felt like it was urgent, even if it wasn't urgent. And I started feeling bad about my real life, not even about how work was affecting. Like I would feel bad when the kids were home, and instead of taking off, I would still work on projects and try to juggle. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to do that. My baby is sick. You know what I mean? Like my baby, she's a baby. She's going to be sick. And I think at the time, when I went back to work, she was 6 months old, and then she started daycare at 9 months, right in the middle of flu season. There were points where I was sick, and instead of taking the day off, I worked because the kids weren't sick and the kids were back at school, and this was the only time that I would get to work. And it was just like, because I'm always gonna overexert, I'm pretty sure if the people that I was working with listened to this video, they would have no idea. They would have no idea that I was under so much stress. But like, I would say it. I would literally say, I'm overwhelmed. This is a lot. I can't do this project. And I would be met with like, this would have been better if we knew ahead of time. How do I know I'm gonna have fever 2 weeks from now? I promise that if I knew ahead of time, I would have said something. And the fact that I didn't say something is because this is an emergency and an urgent situation. And it's just like, I can't live under their circumstances anymore. And it's just unfortunate that we do live in an era where work-life balance is much more accepted verbally and on documents But I don't know for certain that it's actually prioritized in the day-to-day because it's difficult. Even on the other hand, if you have a deadline that you're trying to reach and the people that you need to help you with those deadlines are unable to do, yes, it throws everybody off, but I'm sorry, that's just life.
I think that as we grow more conscientious about mental health, employers are going to have a tougher time explaining work practices where they preach that mental health is important, but the practices that they put in place don't support that. And on the other end, it got to be difficult when the point of your job is not to make you happy. The point of your job is to create revenue. You help them create revenue and they give you a little piece of that in exchange for your time. It's not personal.
That's hard. It's not personal.
So we're trying to put a personal spin on something that is designed to be anti-personal. I just find that a little strange. In the comments below, I want you to tell me whether or not you've ever had a job that had an alarmist culture where everything is always a priority. When I worked in corporate,
I feel like that's corporate structure, everything.
Corporate corporate sales too.
Yeah.
Not even corporate sales, just like people facing sales. It's such an alarmist culture. Everything is super urgent. The sky is always falling. The house is always on fire. When everything is urgent, nothing is urgent.
You always say that.
When everything is urgent. I said that to my director at one point. She was like, she didn't like it, but she knew that it was facts.
I've said that in our corporate meetings before.
What they say?
No, I think
Work
like
harder.
there's just so many nuances there because everybody knows that, and I think everybody wishes it could be different. But the fact of the matter is, we're there to build revenue. We're there to make money for an organization, and unfortunately, if you're unable to exert a certain amount of energy in your assignments, they will find somebody else to do it for you, or you will be reprimanded for not fulfilling those responsibilities. That's what you signed up for. I think that real life situations need to be accounted for more, and I think the best way to do that is maybe having unlimited sick days, or my job right before I left, we had unlimited vacation days if you've worked there for a certain amount of time. So like if you were taking a mental health day or whatever, and I think you could take up to 2 weeks at a time, like unlimited.
Oh, wow.
You just have to talk to your manager, and I think that the company is moving in an amazing direction, but I think the reality of our unique circumstances is somebody can't be working in corporate America. Someone can't be working where they can't just take a day off in the middle of the week, or like if we got a call where we needed to do some type of brand deal or speaking engagement or something, lights off, we're going to turn this off and we're going to focus on that.
For sure.
I need to be in a situation where I can do that, and unfortunately it's just not gonna work. But I do think that like some companies are moving in that direction, but I think that I love that I've seen more autonomy in the millennial community. Like even people outside of social media, not doing social media work, people aren't staying at jobs if they're not happy. That was never heard of when we were growing up. People stayed in jobs for like 30 years.
Yeah, we came off the cusp of our parents' generation who were happy to stay at a job for 20, 25, 30 years. They wore it as a badge of honor. We don't have the same loyalty to any particular company. It's more self-interest.
And I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. And the
us?
generation under us,
they're completely self-interested in regards to that.
They'd be like, you know what, the vibes were off. I'm out.
They're creating the gig economy. Like there's this theory that people are going to stop having 9-to-5 jobs and start gigging. So gigging is like Uber, DoorDash, being a freelance writer, doing balloons on the side, like a gig economy. There was a point in this whole transition from this whole social media blow up thing to me doing this thing full time, to me getting more recognition and more opportunities and being very fortunate in that direction. And then there's like how it affects you as a mom, as a person, as a wife. I think my biggest thing is, I know I keep saying that, maybe this really is a thing with me. I just don't want you to ever feel like you're under my thumb. Why is that a thing?
I don't know. Do people say that to you?
No, no one's ever said that.
You've been saying that for a while.
I think it's just, you have to have a lot of trust in me. You got to understand.
What makes you think I don't?
I know that you do, and it's strange because I know you. You don't trust nobody. You don't even trust nothing nobody say. You gave up something as precious as your attachment to being able to achieve and do something you're good at and provide an end result. And that means a lot to you. Me knowing you, the person, that means a lot. You gave that up, and you're trusting me to be able to keep this thing afloat and lead this thing in the right direction and make good decisions and keep it going. That's a lot. If I told law school Noémie that she'd quit her job to help support this collective business we have, where I'm always traveling on the move and I want you to come in and help me with the logistics and tie in all the pieces, you'd be like, what?
But that's because you weren't this Kier. The reason why I'm not worried because like you've grown. I just trust you. Like you're somebody that has been leading this company for a year pretty much on your own, 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much on your own.
Ooh.
And you've done exceptionally well. And I think in the areas that you feel like you failed in, you are so fixated in that you don't realize how small they are compared to the areas where you've been winning in. So it's kind of like the same way that you have so much trust in me to be able to pick up everything. And what did you say? Like, you ain't gonna leave no crumbs, you gonna eat it all. I just feel like where you are in talent and where you are creatively, and it would be foolish of me to be worried about something that's so clearly laid out and perfectly planned out. I got other things to worry about.
You
like,
think it's clearly laid out like that?
Yeah, like I'm not worried. The same way that you ain't worried about me picking it up, I ain't worried about you getting done. I'm just not. I'd be shocked if you're like, babe, we lost all the bread deals. Like, I can't even concept, like, it must have been an alien pretending to be you that messed up all these deals. Because I know it wasn't you. I'd be by your side looking at management like, what y'all doing? What did y'all say?
Like the mama coming up to the school for the bad
I just
kid.
know, like, it ain't him. It ain't my man. My man. It's not. It's a thing. It's a thing.
What is that?
It's a thing. Y'all know. But no, I'm not worried. And I really think it's cute is a bad way, but it's just like, oh, babe, like, that's not it at all. Like, you can let that go. Like, that's been gone for a minute. I have so much faith in you. It's not even faith. I need to have faith. I have proof. I'm not acting on faith. I'm acting on facts.
I always feel a little bit like a fake when people like, man, you made the big leap. I'm like, it's not. I did, but I didn't. Like, it was just overwhelming proof that I could do more on this side. It wasn't like I didn't jump all on faith.
We're not jumping people.
Do that. Yeah.
Like, neither one of us. I would be like, you can go ahead and do whatever social media stuff as long as you bring home this paycheck.
I'm jumping out on faith. I'd be like,
no,
hey,
trust me.
Good luck. I hope that works out for you. People. I need to see something.
By the time he quit, it was kind of like, okay.
And everybody, it was so obvious. People at my job were like, yeah, we get it.
We were waiting for this day. Didn't your manager predict it before you said it?
Yeah, my director, I called. She's like, you leaving me, ain't you? I was like, yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I think the same thing was with me. When I decided to put in my 2 weeks notice, the first phone call that I made to my manager, she was just like, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it. I caught people who didn't know what we were doing on social media off guard. As interesting as it may seem, I don't actually share my personal life with everybody.
Oh, God, no.
But I think people were shocked until they found out what we did on social media and just, within our company in general. And I think people were just like, oh, okay. I've never not worked for anybody before. And I'm not even going to say like the entrepreneurial life is better. I need structure, and I'm still struggling with not having structure. And even within this entrepreneurial season in my life, I'm going to find a way to create structure.
Of course.
I will. I don't know what to do yet.
You gotta give yourself time.
But I will. Trust and believe. I think we're changing the world one little step at a time.
One conversation at a time.
Even the people that we brought onto the team, it's vibey, it feels good. This type of energy and this type of work, like, we're creating the working environment we wish we had for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I'm just glad that, we're in a place where our company is able to do that.
And you got a point when you're talking about you somebody who needs structure and how you're used to having a 9 to 5. I think I said this on the sit down talk before, just about how glamorized the whole entrepreneur life is right now, just where our culture and our society is. I think that what gets overlooked sometimes is there is a safety and a consistency in working a 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck. I think it's something to be said about that. It reminds me of the whole comparison between someone who lives in an apartment and someone who owns a home. Even if you have the money, that doesn't mean that you want to take care of all the little things. A house is a lot. It's a lot. And for some people, that effort...
Wait till you see our gas bill.
I don't want to.
When you move into a house, you have to pay like an initial fee. People see the house and they be like, oh, my mortgage is cheaper than the rent. That's not the closing costs, which could run you tens of thousands of dollars. That doesn't include taxes. That doesn't include window treatments. That doesn't include rugs. That doesn't include lighting fixtures. It's yours, though.
It's
the house
yours,
and the
though.
problems, though.
And I think that's a similar analogy to being an entrepreneur. If you don't feel good, you can't really call out because the job still has to get done. So there are pros and cons. I'm never going to be mad at somebody for not wanting to be an entrepreneur. I'm never going to be mad at somebody for not being a homeowner.
Absolutely
I don't feel like it fits everybody's personality
I agree.
and the life that they want for themselves. I'm not sure if the entrepreneur style, I wasn't sure if it fit me. I'm just lucky that I'm in a creative field where I can.
I feel like it is still corporate-ish. You're establishing a team where you're about to just be talented. I don't know that that's going to feel as entrepreneurial as it is with you doing everything. Because there's going to be a point where you're going to have somebody taking notes at your meetings. You're going to have people taking meetings for you. You're going to have people soliciting opportunities for you. And I think that is the goal. And then there's a larger scale business entrepreneur. You are phasing out of the small business entrepreneur to something a little bit larger scale because of the vastness of your team.
Yeah, I can feel that happening. But for me, and I think you'll experience this as you try to find your structure and your way. Because there's no template. There's no one who's ever done this before to tell you how to do it. You are great at delegation. That's your thing. Give Noémie a stack of cards. She's going to make sure everybody got 8. Give me a stack of cards. I can't shuffle them joints. My brain just doesn't do the same thing with categorization and putting things in the appropriate spots. It has a hard time with that. That's the issue for me. But I'll take this struggle over any other struggle because it's all mine at the end of the day, man.
Yeah.
And I'm learning. I don't feel like my fails are really fails.
That's how failure should always be looked at.
I mean, ideally.
I mean,
as long as it's not cataclysmic, you lose an arm or something.
Guys, let's be reasonable. In corporate America and in entrepreneurial situations, that like if we were to look at situations like that, that will kind of ease up the culture. Because I'm like, it's not about where the ball is dropped, but it's like, how is it saved and how are we learning from these opportunities? Like, I just feel like I thrive in corporate America. Yeah. I do. And maybe I will go back, but it would have to be in a leadership position. Like, I would have to be in a situation where I'm working at building work culture. I'm just making sure that I'm offering perspective for people where starting their own business isn't something that they're interested in doing. And I think that there are ways to feed that part of your soul in a corporate environment. You just might have to be the person to initiate that. What a reflective kind of place to be.
I've been real reflective lately.
Really?
Yeah, on our collective journey, on our individual journey. This isn't to me like, we did it. Yeah. We got you from your 9 to 5. Like, that's not the finish line in my mind. It's the catalyst for what comes next and what you'll be able to do. Thank y'all for tuning in.
I'm falling into what we just are. Like, we always leave with some type of takeaway. I'm interested to know yours.
Yeah, and the bottom, leave a takeaway. What's your biggest takeaway from this episode? We talked about a lot. We're always curious as to what you think, so let us know. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's very important. It's how we know that you're a part of our community. And we love seeing y'all here. And with that being said, we'll catch you next time. Y'all be well.